Welcome back to Engineered Coffee. This is episode 31. The question of the week is, are coffee capsules actually recyclable? Why recyclable is more complicated than you think. In the last episode, we talked about the PPWR regulation and how Europe is reshaping the packaging rules. One of the key words that keeps appearing in that regulation is recyclable. But what does that actually mean? Because in the coffee capsule world, almost every material claims to be recyclable. Aluminium capsules say they're recyclable. Plastic capsules say they're recyclable. Fiber capsules claim compostability or recyclability. So today I want to step back and answer a very simple question. Are coffee capsules actually recyclable? And the answer is not about materials alone. It's about systems. Before we begin, I have a favor to ask. This channel is not sponsored in any way, so the only way it can grow is if you hit the like button and share the content if you care, and to subscribe to the channel. This helps the algorithm to get us more views. The first thing to understand is this. Recyclability is not just a property of a material. It's a property of a system. For something to be recycled successfully, several things must happen. The consumer has to dispose of it correctly. The waste system has to collect it. Sorting facilities must detect and separate it. And a recycling process must exist. There must be a market for the recycled material. If any one of these steps fails, the product may be technically recyclable, but it won't actually be recycled. Coffee capsules face a particular challenge. They are small items. Most modern recycling facilities use automated sorting equipment, often near-infrared scanners and mechanical screens. These systems are designed to sort bottles, containers, and larger packaging. Small objects behave differently. They can fall through the screens, be misclassified, or end up in the wrong waste stream. So even if the material itself is recyclable, the size of the object can make recovery difficult. This is one reason capsule collection programs exist. Let's start with aluminium capsules. Aluminium has a huge advantage. It is infinitely recyclable. Once collected and melted, aluminium can be reused again and again, with much less energy than primary production. The challenge is collection. Aluminium capsules are small and contain coffee residue, so many brands have introduced dedicated take-back systems. In those systems, the capsules are collected, the coffee grounds are separated, the aluminium is recycled, and when the system works, aluminium recycling can be very effective. But the system still relies on consumer participation. Plastic capsules, however, are often made from polypropylene, and they present a different challenge. Polypropylene is recyclable in many waste streams, but again, size matters. Small plastic items can be difficult to capture in sorting systems. The success of plastic capsule recycling depends on local recycling infrastructure, correct sorting, and material purity. When designed as a monomaterial packaging, plastic capsules can fit into recycling streams. But the real-world recovery rate still depends on the waste system around it. Fiber capsules introduce a different approach to the end of life. Instead of trying to enter metal or plastic recycling streams, a fiber capsule can be designed to return to the biological cycle. One of the goals with these capsules is that they can be disposed of in the organic waste bin together with food waste, things like vegetable scraps, coffee grounds, and other biodegradable material. In that system, the capsule isn't treated as packaging anymore. It becomes part of the organic waste stream. But it's important to clarify something here. A fiber capsule should not go into the paper recycling bin. Paper recycling systems are designed to recover clean paper fibers that can be reused in new paper products. Once a capsule has been used, it contains coffee residue, moisture, oils, and fine particles. That contamination makes it unsuitable for conventional paper recycling. So the correct pathway is the organic bin, not the paper bin. And why this approach makes sense. If you look at the composition of the capsule, the logic becomes clear. The system is almost entirely plant-based. The capsule body is cellulose fiber, the lid is paper, and inside the capsule is coffee, which is also a plant material. In other words, the capsule is essentially organic material surrounded by organic material. When designed correctly, more than 99.9% of the system originates from plant-based sources. So from a life cycle perspective, the idea is simple. The materials start as plants, they serve their purpose in brewing the coffee, and then they return to the organic cycle. In that sense, the capsule behaves much more like a food waste than traditional packaging. The real world still matters. But just like recycling systems, organic waste systems also depend on infrastructure. Cities need to have organic collection, industrial composting, or biodigestion facilities. Where those systems exist, fiber capsules can fit naturally into that stream. Where they don't exist, the benefits are harder to realize. Again, sustainability is not just about the materials. It's about materials working inside real systems. So whether we're talking about aluminum, plastics, or fiber, the real question isn't only, is this material recyclable? The real question is, does the system exist that allows this material to return to the cycle? Because without that system, even the most sustainable material won't reach its potential. This is why many capsule systems rely on dedicated collection programs. Instead of relying on general waste streams, capsules are collected separately, processed in controlled facilities, and returned to cycling systems. These programs improve recovery rates significantly, but they also depend heavily on consumer behavior. Recycling systems work best when they are simple and convenient. In reality, recycling performance often comes down to one factor: human behavior. Consumers need to separate waste correctly, participate in collection programs, and understand where materials should go. Even the most recyclable packaging will fail if it ends up in the wrong bin. Sustainability isn't only about engineering, it's also about behavior. This is why capsule design continues to evolve. Manufacturers are working on simplified materials, lighter designs, clearer labeling, and systems that match existing recycling infrastructure. The goal is not just to create recyclable materials, it's to create recyclable systems. So, are coffee capsules recyclable? The honest answer is sometimes. Aluminum can be recycled, plastic can be recycled, fiber can return to the biological cycle, but none of those things happen automatically. Materials don't recycle themselves. Systems cycle materials. And the real challenge for our industry isn't choosing the perfect material. It's designing systems where materials can actually find their way back into the cycle. Once again, thanks for taking your time to view this episode of Engineered Coffee. And as usual, please don't forget to mash the like button. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do. And if you found this content worthy of sharing with someone else, also please do. It will help me grow the channel. So until next week, this is Anthony. Cheers.